Hello everyone, Derek's Damn Toys, and we are back with another action figure review. Today, we've got the Legends Series Ultimate Edition Bret Hart. At least I want to say this one was the Legends Series, I don't know. As you can tell, I did not get this bad boy mock, but he is in super great condition nonetheless. I'd say for the most part, there's a couple of things I might have some small gripes with, but nothing I am going to go to the absolute mountaintop about, we can say. As I was about to say, to be honest, even though I wanted to say go to the moon about, but meh. With all that being said though, we don't have any plastic prison, so now we can just jump straight in to the action figure review. Of course, as you can see, with all the accessories laid out here, he has 3 different sets of hands, including a set of weapon holding hands plugged in to the current arms that are plugged into this Ultimate Edition. It's not very often you say you get 2 sets of interchangeable arms, but these sets of arms are very useful for their own different purposes, of course, as you can see when it comes to the jacket here, but we'll take a good look at that once we get done with all these hands. As I did mention, we've got the weapon / mic holding hands here. We've got a set of fist hands so he can beat Vince McMahon up in the backstage after Vince McMahon pulls the ultimate screw job. Or, you know, maybe he's duking it out with Shawn Michaels in the ring. Either way, nice set of hands all around, as we also get his little slappy or open palm hands for like when he's making his entrance. He's got his hands open and he's going or whatever the fuck. I don't know why I just like made like a whole Eminem like reference there. I say it like that because if you know, my mind instantly goes to go crazy. But we're done with the hands here, right? So now we can get into the fact that he does come at least with 2 interchangeable head scans. I will say the one that's plugged into the figure is probably the better one out of the 2, though I do respect the messy haired head scan as well for mid-match like posing and stuff like that. This will make for like a nice little touch. Maybe he's like in the mat, he's getting beat right now, or he's got a sharpshooter locked in. He can't get the hair out of his eyes because he's more worried about trapping his opponent's legs together. And it's a nice head scan all around. I will say I understand why people don't care for the Bret Hart head scans all that much, but I will say for my first Bret Hart, I think I did just fine, as yes, this is my very first Bret Hart, so what a way to introduce Bret into the collection than with his Ultimate Edition. Not his first one, of course, but that's not even besides the point. I digress here. Of course, getting into the rest of these accessories, we've got his pink sunglasses here. Nice sunglasses nonetheless. You know, you can probably, well, I'd say probably, maybe if I had both my hands here, it'd be a hell of a lot easier. I don't know why this Bret Hart wants to move on me. I am not having a very easy time plugging these in with one hand, but I was able to manage, at least for the most part. Maybe it could be pushed in a little bit more on the one side or something. I don't know. But best you're gonna really get, as of course with these sunglasses, they do not have the extension pieces on the ends of them here. As well, how would you plug it in with Bret Hart's long hair? So yeah, nice sunglasses, but can't really use them for anyone unless they have long hair type of thing. Alrighty, well, a little bit of technical difficulties, aka I had to cough like a motherfucker for a good minute there. I already went over this stuff over here. I was in the middle of doing this, so second attempt at this. A little bit of editing to do. Womp womp. Sadly, this was supposed to be the easy one, aka it has turned into the hard part of the review. But at the end of the day, going back to what I was saying that you guys don't know of, but I do because I have to now edit this shit. I love the way this jacket is, this 3-piece combo here. You've got the nice designing here on the back with the 4 pink stars. You've got the black flames, the white background. I love how everything has a nice feeling to it, like the tassels here, even though they are rubber. They have kind of like that rubbery tassel feeling. I don't know. All the nice little bits of sculpting here are actually quite nice. And then you get into the arms being a separate piece from the jacket. That's what makes this even better. You've got the same designing going down the arms that are on the back of the jacket, the white background with the pink stars and the black flames. Honestly, I can't complain about this at all. I've always wanted to have an all pink Bret Hart, and well, I can say I now own that all pink Bret Hart. And getting into this all pink Bret Hart, the second head scan, like I said, I do like this one a lot better than the other one. But this one isn't really all that much great either. I think it's because they have to part his hair the way that they do, and it can't sit flush a little bit more with the head scan. I don't know. Maybe there's a little bit more to the Bret Hart head scans that I'm just not understanding here. But yeah, when it comes down to it, my only gripe with this Bret Hart is this little bit of schmutz here. It almost kind of looks like someone tried to fix something and just ended up making the torso a little bit worse. I also just now notice a little bit of skin tone smudging on the singlet there, and this also could have been patched up a hell of a lot better. But you know what, at the end of the day, for a loose Bret Hart, I didn't pay too much for this. And honestly, I am quite happy with my purchase here, especially getting into this ring gear. Of course, you've got the black elbow pads, you've got the pink wrist tape here, you got the nice pink singlet with the heart logo there on the singlet. Of course, it looks a lot better when the singlet is more crunched over than it does extended, especially when the wing top here doesn't even meet the wing down here. I understand why you have it for this action, but up here it almost doesn't even make sense to have that. I almost kind of feel like it may look a little bit better without these logos here on the top piece, but maybe that's just me. I don't want to remove it just because of the fact that, well, I may end up removing the pink on the singlet as well. I can only imagine they painted the little bit of pink and this is actually skin tone, right? Well, you can only hope. Maybe the whole skin tone is pink underneath and this whole top piece is pink. Hence why, if you notice, there's a little bit of pink in that schmutz there. But that's whatever. I digress. You got black outlining on the singlet here. You've got Hitman written across the top of the tailbone. You got 1 star on the ass cheeks. Maybe that's what Dave Meltzer rated his stars. I don't know. Of course, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 stars on the side. So maybe he's not just a 1-star pony after all. Maybe he's a 7-star pony. Maybe he's 7-star FTR. I don't know. But at the end of the day, if I recall correctly, I don't know if it was with the stars or if it was with the hearts on the gear, but I know after so long he started putting hearts on the leg portion of his gear. I don't know if the stars represent that as well, but that's supposed to represent his kids. I would love to have the other Ultimate Edition that does feature that design on it, just so I can show you guys if you don't know what I'm talking about. But of course, this designing, just like with the jacket, you've got the stars going down with the white background, the black flames. All around this gear is nice, including the pink knee pads here. You've got nice white boots with baby pink on the boots. You got a black, white, and baby pink star there. White soles. Got some nice ultimate toe articulation there. I'm loving these boots, honestly, I can't lie. I feel like a pair of Bret Hart boots would go quite nice on like a pink gear Braun Breaker. AKA, I've seen a Feder do it on Instagram and I kind of want to do it myself, but then another part of me is like, no, you shouldn't do that. I don't know, I think I might at the end of the day, because my one all black gear breaker, his one boot is loose as shit, so I don't know if I want to attempt to either fix that boot or maybe just swap them. Either way, at the end of the day, we're not talking about Braun Breaker, we're talking about Bret the Hitman fucking Hart here. And honestly, at the end of the day, I am loving this Ultimate Edition here. Happy I finally went out of my way to grab a Bret Hart after so many years of not being able to get the Bret Hart. The one time I seen the one Bret Hart I always would have wanted as a kid in stores. So this is kind of a fun little story before we get into the action figure like finale here, aka where I'm gonna pose them up real quick and then we can get into our final thoughts. But so, when it comes down to it, when I was roughly about 13, I think, I want to say I was 13, because I can't remember if this was before or after my mother passed away, but we were in a big clothing store. And mind you, a lot of the clothing stores around here, they don't tend to have like toy sections, but for whatever reason this one did. Maybe it's because it was around like school season and Christmas time, so they were kind of prepping for people who may want to go Christmas shopping, or maybe they just always had this, and because I didn't always go clothes shopping here, I just would have never known they just sold WWE figures. But they had the defining moments Bret Hart, and honestly, I remember seeing that figure in that box, and just remembering how bad I wanted that figure, and now seeing Bret Hart in Ultimate Edition form years later, in hand, sadly no box included, but in hand, this is absolutely fantastic, just top notch, though the overall rating may shock you a little bit, so why don't we get into that now, shall we? Alrighty, you guys. Now that we've got this Bret Hart all posed up, as you can see, we've got him hitting the sharpshooter on the Monday Night Wars Stone Cold Ultimate Edition. And honestly, what a moment to recreate. I can't wait to be able to recreate the sharpshooter with that new Stone Cold head scan that'll have the bloody head sculpt that's supposed to help recreate this moment and make it even more realistic. Now, I will say this, thank you to maybe Jazzwares or whatever may have influenced WWE to allow Mattel, because at the end of the day, WWE does have the final say. So I want to know what influenced WWE to give the okay to let Bill Nikita do, bloody figures and stuff of that nature, because man, let me tell you this, I am super excited to see that Stone Cold. But I digress. After all, we are talking about the Monday Night War, the Monday Night Wars, the Legends Target exclusive Bret Hart here. And at the end of the day, I do love this Bret Hart. I am super happy with this purchase, but I will say, if I knew that the back had looked like that, I may have second guessed my purchase. I may have tried to talk the seller down just a little bit more, aka I didn't talk him down at all. I was fairly happy with the price I was receiving, but the only problem is that he had I want to say he had the jacket plugged in on the figure, but no, it was just the jacket arm. So maybe I could have seen it and I just didn't really see it that well in the picture. So it could be my fault here. But at the end of the day, whether it was his fault, Mattel's fault, getting it in hand this way, I will say does deduct a couple of points. And at the end of the day, coming into that scale of 1 to 10, what would I rank this Bret Hart? Kind of like the Damian Priest, I think I'm going to give him a good solid 7, because honestly that is my only gripe. So in fact, X that 7, draw WCW on it, WCW, and hit this with a good solid 8.5. That's just a little bit of scuffage. I'm not even going to worry about it that deeply. I'm still going to sleep soundly at night, knowing that this Bret Hart's not just in my collection, but knowing I'm going to have to go to work either way, so I gotta go to sleep. Sadly, I took like a 2-hour cat nap before doing all this stuff, so I'm kind of screwed for the most part. But speaking of screwed, we do still have the Dave Meltzer star ratings to do, and on that note, I gave him a good solid 8 out of 10, so I think it's only fair to do a good solid 4 out of 5 stars. And with that being said, honestly, at the end of the day, I do really like this Bret Hart. And speaking with all honesty, I don't want to sit here and keep talking my ear off. So, honestly, if you guys liked the video, feel free to like the video. And if you guys did not like the video, well, womp womp, I guess. But if you guys did like the video, feel free to go check out some of my other action figure reviews. I do have the new Damian Priest Ultimate Edition up here on the site. On the YouTube now. We've got the Elite Series 17 Seth Rollins. We finally completed the Rogue Bloodline, and we got the Jacob Fatu. Just a lot of crazy things, including this matchup in general. Highly recommend you go watch this match if you haven't already. But yeah, we've got plenty of pick-fed content. We've got plenty of reviews. So what are you doing sitting here waiting for me to point out that we also do unboxings every now and again, even though it's been 3 months since I last did one? Hoping, not guaranteeing, but I'm hoping for August 18th to have a big unboxing video for you. And I say it like that because if you guys don't know, that would be the 3 years to the day I would have started this YouTube channel. So my 3rd year here on YouTube, and I am excited to somewhat celebrate that with you guys. Of course, my budget may restrict me on a bunch of shit that I would love to get, but I'm definitely at least looking to spend the money and maybe potentially get like a full little wave of figures, maybe like a 4-wave set of Elites or something that we can unbox, something that we can review, and something that, I don't know, maybe it'll be near and dear to our hearts as far as that goes. But of course, we will have the 3 years on YouTube videos, so I guess stay tuned for that. And yeah, well, with all that being said, if you guys could, feel free to subscribe. After all, it is free to subscribe. And at the moment, we are currently sitting at 398 subs. We are only 2 subs away from having 400 subscribers, which honestly is a very crazy realization to come to, knowing the fact that you guys have gotten me to this point. We are almost at half 1,000 subscribers, so thank you all who do tune in week in and week out to like stay in touch with the pick fed or keep up with action figure reviews. Honestly, with it being 3 years, maybe I'll have to say fuck it and take the time to actually go over a lot of the action figures in my collection, not including the ones in the crowd. If anything, we'll probably just show those off in like a little separate small video that will be included in that video, if you catch my drift. And same thing with my shelf too. Just because, like one moment. Because, you guys are crazy if you think I'm going to take the time to take all of this stuff down. Mind you, I do kind of have a couple of small things just chilling on here. Stuff obviously not in place, like this Ric Flair and Batista and stuff like that. But, like, I'm not taking the time to take any of this down. So, like, stuff like this would be, like, in its own separate portion. But, yeah, other than that, I don't really know. But I guess we can kind of end the review here if you guys want to. Kind of get a nice look at my Chase Stardust and my Chase Axiom. Thank you to my boy, Todd. Love you much, my dude. Even though I'm sure you ain't watching this like that. If anything, maybe I'll clip this and send it to you. But yeah, and then on top of it, we've got my custom modern day formula but retro gear Drew McIntyre and stuff of that nature. Just a lot of nice figures up here. Anywho, this is getting a little bit longer than I anticipated for an outro. So yeah, feel free to subscribe. We're getting close to 400. Feel free to go check out some of my other content. Feel free to do whatever. Feel free to share all this stuff. Share this video with your mom, your dad, your mother, your brother, your sister, your cousin, your uncle, your grandpa, your uncle, grandpa. I don't give a fuck. But on that note, have a good rest of your day, night, evening, whatever the case may be. I don't know, because I am not in your time zone, but if I were, what would the case be? Either way, we are signing out of here. So, deuces, ooses, yeet.